National Electoral Council of Venezuela gave Nicolás Maduro as the winner with 51.2% of the votes against 44.2% for Edmundo González. The World Health Organization stated that more than 1 million polio vaccines will be sent to the Gaza Strip because of the presence of poliovirus in sewage samples. The Russian government denounced that Western countries are fueling international confrontation by deploying Western weapons in the Asia-Pacific region. Hello, welcome to From the South. I am Irma Shelton from the Telesur studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Stay with us. The National Electoral Council of Venezuela offered the first bulletin with irreversible trend declaring the victory of candidate Nicolás Maduro in the presidential elections of July 28. This way, with 59% of participation and 80% of the transmission, the Electoral Authority announced that the presidential candidate for the Great Patriotic Poll, Nicolás Maduro, obtained 51.20% of votes for a total of 5,150,092 votes, those obtaining the victory in the elections. Furthermore, the National Electoral Council also informed that candidate Edmundo González obtained 44.2% of votes with 4,445,978 votes. And now we go live to Caracas with our special envoy in Venezuela, Brian Meir, who is at this moment very near to the Miraflores Palace. Hello, Brian. Go ahead.
Well, it's ride since the campaign first started officially on July 4th. It was 21 days of intense campaigning by all 10 candidates, crisscrossing the countryside, speaking to groups of all sizes, as the international press waged a disinformation war against the sovereign state of Venezuela. What this really shows is that a dream that was dreamed up by a young military officer named Hugo Chavez many years ago has not left the hearts of the Venezuelan people. Despite crippling sanctions that a study recently cited in the Washington Post shows shrunk the size of Venezuela's economy 3 times more than what happened to the United States in the Great Depression, the people of Venezuela have not given up on the project. So now we have to wait. The opposition announced in advance that it wasn't going to accept the results. We have to see what happens next. For now, the huge crowd that has just streamed out behind Miraflores Palace after a rousing speech by Nicolás Maduro are going home happy, knowing that the dream of Hugo Chavez hasn't died. Hugo Chavez, who would have celebrated his 70th birthday today if he were still alive.
Thank you, Ryan. He was Brian Meir reporting live from Caracas, and we continue now with more information.
We want to inform as well that we have to request immediately to the General Prosecutor of the Republic to start an investigation upon the actions, terrorist actions perpetrated against our electoral system and against the voting centers and also against representatives from the electoral power. We make a call to all the Venezuelans to respect the Constitution and the Republic laws and the rule of the people expressed in the technology for the votation, and as well the peace in our territory. The ones who participate in this event to recognize the authority of the National Electoral Council.
After the National Electoral Council declared his victory with 51.20% of the votes, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro addressed the country to take stock of the results of the day. Maduro dedicated his triumph in the presidential elections to Commander Hugo Chávez Frías on his 20th birthday. He also warned that after the result announced by the electoral body, there will be peace, tranquility, and justice in the country, while he highlighted the virtues of the electoral system characterized by multiple audits throughout the process.
The fascism in Venezuela, the homeland of Bolivar and Chavez, won't cross. Not today, not ever. We weren't born on the coward's day, from the warm, from the fearful people. We were born on the day of the light of the liberator gave birth to this homeland, a homeland of bravery, of courage.
The Attorney General of Venezuela, Tarek William Saad, revealed that this Sunday's electoral process has been the one with the lowest number of incidents in the electoral centers. From the Public Prosecutor's Office in Caracas, the Attorney General compared the current process with the negative events registered in the 7 years of democratic processes. He asked for a round of applause for the people of Venezuela and classified the process as fast, neat, and agile in the terms of the participation of Venezuelans at the moment of exercising their vote. In the same context, he celebrated that the citizens had gallantry and peacefully will in an exemplary manner this July 28. The Vice President of International Affairs of the PSUV, Rander Peña, denounced the threats of Javier Milei's government as it called to invade the Venezuelan embassy in Argentina. From the Bolivarian diplomatic headquarters, Peña denounced Milei's government incitement to hatred and violence, particularly from the Minister of Security of Argentina, Patricia Bullrich, and Foreign Minister Diana Mondino, which have resulted in a siege of the Venezuelan embassy in Buenos Aires by opposition and extreme right-wing demonstrators. The PSUV official states that the threats are the product of desperation and a violation to the Vienna Convention, and assure that they will hold Milei responsible for the physical integrity of the diplomatic personnel. Venezuelan Foreign Minister Ivan Gil denounced through a communique in social network X an intervention operation happening against electoral process, Venezuelans' right to self-determination and the sovereignty of the nation by a group of foreign governments and powers. In the statement, Gil informed that the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela denounces and alerts the world about an intervention operation against the electoral process, our right to free self-determination, and the sovereignty of our homeland by a group of foreign governments and powers. He'll conclude by reassuring that this miserable and desperate operation is destined to fail because Venezuela is a free and sovereign country and will never accept impositions or blackmail, and even less from foreign instances without morality and legality to attack our rights and our people. On Sunday, the Venezuelan Minister of Defense, Vladimir Padrino Lopez, as part of the Strategic Operational Command, highlighted the civic attitude of the Venezuelan people in the presidential elections. The minister affirmed that since the last elections, Venezuela had not seen so much peace, and at the same time, he asked for a round of applause for the indomitable force that poured into the centers. Likewise, Padrino Lopez thanks all the institutions that made they go peacefully. He also said that the people of Venezuela are getting ready to open their arms to a new stage. And we go live to Caracas with our special envoy. We continue now with more information. Former President of Ecuador, Rafael Correa, also expressed his congratulations to President Nicolás Maduro and the Venezuelan people on his official account on the social network X with a statement, "Glory to the brave people." Now let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at Telesur English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. On Saturday, the World Health Organization stated that more than 1 million polio vaccines will be sent to the Gaza Strip because of the presence of poliovirus in sewage samples. The agency Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said that the vaccines will be administered to children in the coming weeks. Tedros said no cases of polio have yet been reported, but without immediate actions, it is only a matter of time before it's affected the thousands of children who have been left unprotected. Humanitarian workers have raised concerns about the impact of a possible polio emergency in Gaza amid disastrous health conditions marked by outbreaks of hepatitis A, along with a poor access to medical care due to Israeli aggression. Israeli occupation forces have committed 3 new massacres against families in the Gaza Strip over the last 24 hours, which result in at least 66 Palestinians dead and 241 others injured. Local health authorities report that the Palestinian death toll since October 7 has risen to 39,324 plus 19,830 other people who have been injured. As it has been usually the case, most of the victims are women and children. Moreover, there are still many dead bodies trapped under the rubble or scattered on roads across the war-torn enclave as Israeli occupation forces continue to obstruct movement of ambulance and civil defense crews. On Saturday, the World Health Organization's call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza Strip, devastated by Israel's genocide and operation against the Palestinian territory. WHO Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus expressed his concern for the safety of civilians and patients in the Palestinian town of Deir al-Balah, following recent reports of Israeli attacks on camps sheltering thousands of displaced persons. According to the Ministry of Health of the Gaza Strip, the Israeli operations has left to date more than 39,000 dead and more than 19,000 wounded. In addition, at least 10,000 people are missing and presumed dead under the rubble of destroyed houses and buildings throughout the Gaza Strip. On Sunday, Lebanon's interim government foreign minister Abdullah Bouhabi said a major Israeli attack on Lebanon could lead to a regional war. He said the confrontation would be devastating for all, not just for Lebanon. According to local media, the Lebanese foreign minister said they asked the United States to urge Israel to moderate its behavior and that they request an international committee to be set up to investigate the origin of the attack in Magdal Shams in the occupied Syrian Golan in collaboration with the United Nations interim forces. These statements come amid growing tension after an Israeli interceptor's missiles killed 12 people in Magdal Shams, injuring another 30. Meanwhile, the head of the Loyalty to the Resistant Parliamentary Bloc, Muhammad Raad, said should Israel decide to launch an all-out war against Lebanon, it would be the end of the Israeli state. The Russian government denounced that Western countries are fueling international confrontation by deploying Western weapons in the Asia-Pacific region. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov warned that the Western countries are accelerating the militarization of Asia and the Pacific during his speech at the meeting of Taoist Asian foreign ministers Asian taking place in Laos. The Russian foreign minister pointed out that in recent years, the United States, the United Kingdom, and the European Union have promoted the creation of a political military blocs and the deployment of nuclear weapons in the region. Lavrov pointed out that Washington is promoting nuclear partnerships with Japan and South Korea, and it's pushing for the expansion of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, violating global security. Russian air defense forces have intercepted and destroyed 21 Ukrainian drones across several regions. Russian Defense Ministry says they have thwarted an attempted drone attack by Ukraine on several facilities on Russian soil. Reportedly, 14 drones were destroyed over the Kursk region, 3 over the Belgorod region, 2 over Rostov, and 1 over the Bryansk district, and 1 over Lipetsk. They said no fatalities or injuries have been reported. However, detection and extinguishing systems remain on high alert. And we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories in our website at telesurenglish.net, and join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For Telesur English, I am Irma Shelton. Thank you for watching.